Here's two problems involving specific heat. The first reads, consider a 10-gram sample of gold with a specific heat of 0.129 joules per gram per degree Celsius. When 375 joules of heat are applied to the sample, what change in temperature is observed? I want to start here with my specific heat equation. Q equals mc delta T. Q is a measurement of energy, oftentimes in joules. M is mass, oftentimes in grams. C, specific heat, measured in joules per gram per degree Celsius. And delta T, a change in temperature, oftentimes measured in degrees Celsius. So here, I want to know what change in temperature is observed, so I'll solve my equation for delta T. That gives me delta T equals Q over mc. At this point, I can just plug in some values. 375 joules of heat were applied. The mass of gold was 10 grams. The specific heat of gold is 0.129 joules per gram per degree Celsius. This gives me a change in temperature equal to 290.7 degrees Celsius, but I'm restricted to 3 significant figures, so I'll round that to 291 degrees Celsius. The second problem, copied below, reads, a different sample of gold with a mass of 845 grams cools from 74.2 Celsius to 68.4 Celsius. How much energy is released in this process? Again, I want to use my specific heat equation, Q equals mc delta T. Here I'm concerned about how much energy is released, so I know that I'll keep Q by itself. I want to plug in some values here for my other variables. The mass of gold is 845 grams. The specific heat of gold, as given above, is 0.129 joules per gram per degree Celsius. Change in temperature here is going to be my final temperature minus my initial temperature. I want to simplify that final term before continuing. So I'll rewrite my first two terms. 68.4 minus 74.2 gives me minus 5.8 degrees C. That makes sense because I'm cooling, so it's going to be a negative change in temperature. When I go through and solve this, I find that the answer comes out to minus 632.229 joules. I'm restricted to just 2 significant figures for my change in temperature, so that'll give me minus 630 joules. The negative notation means that energy is being released. Recall that energy is not really positive or negative, it simply is. The negative just a notation signifying energy is being released.